All right, welcome everybody. My name is Anthony, and I have here with me my beautiful wife Chantal. Show some love. Show some love. My brother from another,
Yeah, that's what's up.
Samuel,
Man.
aka Shmuel.
Oh no.
Shmuel.
Oh, no. People don't need to know that, man.
And my sis Samantha
Hey.
to my right of me.
Wait, why didn't she get Samantha from another mother? I don't get it.
I didn't get anything special from you.
You right here, sis.
All right.
So today we have a topic that we want to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we've talked about before.
Exactly.
yes.
Something that stemmed this whole idea.
Yeah,
That we
yeah.
gotta
At
do it.
lunch one day, it got pretty intense.
Yeah.
Spicy.
It got spicy.
Spicy, that's what it is.
So we talked about attire.
Exactly.
What is the appropriate attire?
Mhm.
You know, as believers, you know, especially for this generation. You know, what do you think is the appropriate attire for both men and women, whether you're in church? Nah, is there a
That's
difference?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
is there a specific type of attire you wear in church,
Yeah.
and then outside of church, you
Mhm.
could, you know, pretty much wear what you want?
Mhm.
Or does it carry across, you know, in different settings as well?
Okay.
So,
That's
you
a good,
know,
that's a good question.
so, and then also too, the topic came up, you know, of, you know, going to the beach.
Oh
yeah.
Oh,
It's
right. Oh,
summer.
now, it's all coming back
Yeah.
right now, man. Okay.
You know, are you going full throttle at the beach with like a whole set?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Can you two-piece it up?
Right.
Oh,
You know,
man.
especially with the ladies and the double standards with, you know, men
Mhm.
having their shirts off, you know,
Exactly.
showing their packs, their six
Mhm.
packs,
Or one
Or
pack.
one pack,
Speedos.
you know. And then with women, they have to be more cautious and more
Right.
aware. And so how do we define that? How do we gauge that? You know, because
Oh, man.
Where do we start?
I don't know why we're all
You
looking
just-
at.
you just
We're
laid
all
out
looking
the
at
whole
this.
entire thing.
the standard as believers is modesty, right? That's
Right.
that's our base.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever this topic comes up, it's only about women, and we never talk about men.
Yes. Yes.
Like, all the time.
Oh, they're going in
They're
deep
going-
over
Yeah,
here.
really
all
going
the
in.
time.
Yeah, let's start with the men.
They ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it. So I remember that this that we spoke about this when we were during lunch too,
Yeah.
right? That we had a 4th of July party
Mhm.
and we went to a loving church member's house. They got a huge pool and everyone was going there and doing it. And so a couple of me included, and I think there was like 2 or 3 other guys that had their shirts off,
Right.
right?
Mm.
But then, you know, it got me even thinking because like my dad, who's like Pastor Steven,
Mhm.
right? Even if he wanted to have a shirt off, man,
There's no way.
like there's just no way.
There's
There's just no way because
It's not gonna
he's
happen.
the
Yeah,
big man. He's the boss
for
man.
sure.
You know? But so I feel like there's just so much gray area.
Hold
Mhm.
up. But that day, he had his shirt off, didn't he?
No, he had a shirt
No?
on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He had a shirt off.
Sorry,
Wait, he-
sorry,
man had
sorry.
to
I was
do
wrong.
it.
No, don't
on.
listen to
He
her.
had his
Alright,
shirt
don't listen to her. That was not true.
I'm sorry.
We got photography evidence to say that he had his shirt on.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna get the man
He's out there
canceled.
commando. Pastor was out there commando.
Yeah, man. No, but so I was thinking about it because
Sorry. I'm just
Oh
trying
my
to imagine that.
Dude. So like because I remember like before going to the house, me and Seth is over here.
Shout out to
Like
C-Dub.
C-Dub, that's his nickname. We were in the church and we were working on some stuff and we're gonna head out and meet the people there. And it was super hot that day, man. And like I remember calling on my dad and I was like, yo, can I just wear the singlet? or what do you call around here, the
It's
wife
just-
beater. That's what you
Yeah,
guys call
yeah.
around here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I asked him like, could you do it? He's like, no, don't do this to me, man. Come on, like, we don't need to let the people know. Okay,
Mhm.
and then and I was like, okay, fine, cool. And I get there, and people already got their shirts off, and like
Mm.
guys, and the only person that was in the pool that was wearing a shirt on was a girl.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a second, nah, I'm not, I can't do this, So of course I took my shirt off too, and then I think it was pretty okay. It wasn't like badly received,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. But it still felt like a bit.
Not to me.
Oh,
I
not
was
for you.
fine.
Okay.
Not to me.
Okay.
I was fine, but
Okay.
at the same time, I really see it like if it was my dad, and not just because it's my dad, but because he's the pastor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
If he did it, which one could argue that it's a bit unfair
Mm-hmm.
because he's at that position
Right,
and he's got more restrictions.
right, right.
That it probably wouldn't be okay.
Yeah. But it makes me think though, because so now we have to add another factor in there, right? Does your position,
Exactly.
your role
In the
play a
ministry.
huge part in ministry? Does
Exactly.
that play a role in
You
the
know?
decisions you make even outside
Yeah.
of the church,
Mm-hmm.
realm, or being in the church itself?
100%.
Like
Well, somebody's got to speak. I've been speaking a lot already, man. So one of you guys in blue right now got to speak.
So one thing I do recall in this conversation, we talked about, some of the guys thought it was okay at
Right.
a church function to be able to wear their shirts off.
Mhm.
And, one thing that I said was that,
what kind of church function?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
okay.
Yeah.
One
okay.
where, and I think we all talked about if it was like a group that you're really close with.
Yeah, that's another factor too. That's another
It may be a
factor.
little different
Right.
Mhm.
because you have that personal relationship.
Right.
But if you're just with the whole church family,
Mhm.
like you guys were,
Like,
it gets
yeah.
a little, iffy because you
Mhm.
may have some people who are like, oh, that's, totally inappropriate.
Mhm.
Or you never know, you might have a brother or sister that you're stumbling. So,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
just being mindful of the different age groups that are there, who's there,
Mhm.
and even gauging your church family who may be offended and who may not be offended.
Right.
So I think that's fair.
But we kind of talked about it like there's a higher I guess percentage that it'd be guys stumbling over what the women wear
Right.
compared
Mhm.
to vice versa.
I feel like the
Mhm.
women are, or the young ladies are a lot different than how it used to be. Like a lot of the young women are struggling in that matter too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a lot like it's more always the guys like, okay, he's
Mhm.
struggling with lust,
Mhm.
so is he gonna go to the beach with shades on and just walk around like
Exactly.
a mummy?
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
how do we still have a good time? How do
Yeah.
we, if I know one of my friends is struggling with that,
Mhm.
Mhm.
like, am I gonna be able to like walk him through that
Yeah.
Mhm.
and still be able to have a good time, even though he's struggling with that? Like, how do we navigate that as believers?
Right.
Yeah. I remember one time we all went to Myrtle Beach, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is my first time actually going to the beach with my church family.
Right.
What is everybody going to wear?
I had that same thought too when I heard everyone went to the pool the other day. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wonder
She
what
jumped in
everyone's
with jeans
wearing.
on. She was not
wow.
playing. She was
I
not
didn't
playing.
bring anything, so I
You really were
went
covered.
covered completely.
Yeah.
Full denim, just
Yeah.
a denim dive.
Oh my goodness.
So that was on both of your minds too. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think as a woman of God who truly desires to follow according to what God says a woman is supposed to be, how we're supposed to carry ourselves, you have to have these moments where you self-reflect like, what I'm wearing today, will that stumble somebody,
Right.
even when going to the beach? Because there's this girl online. She has like modesty videos for Christian women, and she even like shows like different outfits you can wear when going on vacation, when you're pregnant. You know, and I think it's really good. And I've even had these conversations with some of the youth girls about what they think is appropriate versus what's not appropriate.
Right.
So modesty is good, but how far is too far? Like, there's some
good.
ladies who are like, you can never wear pants. You
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
a video too, and she
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
you can't go any shorter than your elbows
Oh, wow.
Right.
because you might show your armpit.
I've never heard that part. I thought the elbows doesn't matter.
she recommends you go all the way down to your wrists, knees and ankles to everything. So how far you think is too far?
I think sometimes it's old school because
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
we're
lot of
living in a
people
different time.
that dress like that,
Mhm.
they have been taught by like someone that's older.
Mhm.
And because I
Ancient.
know like back in the day,
Mhm.
that was the way that you should dress.
Mhm.
And now that, you know, we've moved into different times, especially now where a lot of women, including men, like to show their bodies.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just kind of like, where do you find that balance? Where do you find your style as a Christian man or woman where you're not being too revealing or stumbling, you know,
Yeah.
brother or sister, or even a believer? Because you think about it, how can I go and minister to a unbeliever and, you know, I'm half naked and
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, you know, you have to come out of sexual immoralities and you
Right.
have to present yourself this way, and then they look at me like, but what are you wearing?
Yeah.
You know, and I actually had this conversation with a friend because, you know, she tried to defend that depending on a woman's body shape, you should be able to wear certain things, or if it's too tight because of their body shape, it's okay. And it's like, no, you wear something that's more appropriate,
Mhm.
you know? And unfortunately, like something, you know, someone who's like very petite, what they can wear, I definitely can't wear that. So
Right.
it's just like, how is it going to look on your body too?
Mhm. That's so true.
So I got a good question, a good
Mhm.
counter argument right now.
Okay.
Okay. So it's fair. It's a fair statement to
Mhm.
say that we shouldn't be stumbling others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I
what?
already know where you're going, bro.
You know, right? You see it. You see it. Yeah.
I see the vision.
We got the
Oh.
telepathy right now. you
What's,
know?
what's the vision?
The vision is like, yeah, okay. So there's a percentage that we may or may not stumble people depending on how we wear our clothes, right?
Mhm.
But what percentage is that it's honestly up to the individual as well.
Right.
It can't be like everybody's doing everything around that particular individual not to stumble them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
when we're tracking back and talking about like what we spoke about at lunch, if like let's say like some of the girls like they like tattoos,
Mhm.
right? And if let's say like somebody's all tatted up, like a guy is all tatted up and that was a past life and he came back to the Lord and everything, you're expecting him to wear long sleeves and sweaters in the summer?
No, absolutely not.
So like there is a element that of course we respect, that we don't want to stumble people,
Mhm.
but there's an element that it's also the individual's responsibility
Yeah.
to be able to, you know.
Yeah. And along with that too, I think comes personal conviction too.
Right,
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
people
Yeah.
have different personal convictions
Mhm.
Yeah.
that you don't always necessarily have to put on others. If God is calling you to, you know, maybe cover up your tats, maybe for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you
Exactly.
don't know how
Mhm.
many people you can bring to the Lord,
Mhm.
you know,
Exactly.
through
Mhm.
having tats,
Yeah.
Mhm.
open conversation
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that can bring,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little facetious
Me
with
too.
this.
I
Okay,
wanted
well,
to say
big
something
words.
about that
Everybody's
too.
using big words right now.
So-
Josephus, hand me a thesaurus, man. Come on, bro. Gotta up my game here.
So if you know, before I truly came to Christ and just changed like my lifestyle, the things that I wear,
Mhm.
if I wore a low cut top
Mhm.
then and now I'm like, well, you know, that was me before. I like to wear low cut tops, and you know, that's all I have. Or some will give the excuse, they make clothing or tops for
For you
women
to
that
wear
are revealing.
Revealing.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
have to
yeah.
wear a
Mhm.
turtleneck,
Right.
and
Yeah,
it gets
yeah.
hot in the summer.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so what are you going to say to somebody
Mm-hmm.
who uses that excuse? Well, this is me, and what I wear doesn't depict what Christ is doing inside of me.
100%.
And I'm not going to stumble. If you're going to say
Mm-hmm.
that people should be accountable for
Mhm.
what they are looking at, what they're
Mhm.
not looking at, then it's my body and I can
Right.
wear what I want, because
Right.
I've heard that, and I've
Yeah.
even sometimes heard that from believers.
Well,
Yeah.
my answer to that would be, or my question to that would be, what's the fruit of that? Like, what type of people are you attracting then? If
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
feel in your heart
I think that's true
Mhm.
too, man.
that, oh, I'm doing this because I like doing it, right?
Mhm.
And, but my thing is, what's the fruit from that as well?
Mhm.
Because if it comes down to a heart matter at that point,
Mhm.
because everybody always can say, yeah, it's God knows my heart and all of that,
Yeah.
but you have to show some fruit from
Right.
it as
Right.
well,
Right.
from God changing your heart to you now having a different way of looking at things, different way of living your life. Now there has to be some kind of fruit
Word.
showing of that inner work that you just gave your life to Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does that fall in line with men who want to
Here we go.
wear their
Here we go.
who want to wear no shirt
Right.
when they go swimming, or even they may have went to the gym, come out the gym, it's like
Yeah.
really hot outside, and
Oh,
they
I
want to go
thought- I
topless.
thought you were saying something else.
It's tricky, man. That's tricky because I feel as though a woman's body is obviously way different than
Yeah,
a man's body.
To a
When
man.
I'm
I
like,
But
understand
to a
that, but-
woman, a guy, comes out, has
Mhm.
like the chest hairs and the water's glistening off of him, and and she might be like, oh,
Right.
I see you.
Look at Brother Anthony over there. Look at
Mhm.
Brother Samuel with his
Oh,
tattoos,
yes.
Right.
and that may be something
Right.
that may draw their eye to you.
But so
And
here's the thing, though, is
This is
and,
brilliant.
and for single people, like, is an initial attraction bad?
No. See, that's
my
what
thing.
I'm
It's
saying,
okay
bro.
to have an initial
No.
attraction. You're like,
well,
oh,
but
that's
that
a
can
nice
it
looking guy right there.
can
Exactly.
turn
versus yes,
no, it can turn to
lust.
meditation,
Dab
because
me up one
now
time, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
now-
Like,
that's what's
now
up.
they
it's
fist bump
normal.
it down. We get a high five next time.
Okay.
I think it's normal to have that initial attraction.
Well, yes, initial attraction,
Right,
but when it's just constantly being like
Well, then-
flaunted around
But
you,
see,
you're
but
just
that's
like
when there comes that personal
Conviction.
where you got to be like, all right, he's attractive or she's attractive. You know what I mean? I got to
Mhm.
hold myself together. But it's okay to be like, yo, this person is attractive.
Mhm.
And if
Mhm.
you're single, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're in that space where you're, dating, or you're in looking for someone,
Mhm.
conversation may be had or not. But look, admire, and keep it pushing.
So why can't men do that?
So
Men do what?
Look and keep it pushing.
Dang.
The men do. There's men that do.
Yeah.
There's men that do, and then there's men that don't.
Yeah.
There's men
But
that
and the
don't.
same thing for females. There's
Right.
some women that do and some women
Right.
that don't.
So now should we just make a blanket rule because there are individuals who may be struggling in that area and they can't, you know what I mean? We just gonna keep making blanket rules?
No, I think it's just kind of gauging your audience, like we said in the beginning. When you're going to a church function where it's
Sure.
going to be, your church family there
Mhm.
versus maybe you have a group of church members or friends, that you gather with often. And even so, how do you present yourself, as we're called to be disciples? How do you approach somebody like in the supermarket? If
Right.
you're dressed how you want to be dressed and there's no church family around.
Mhm.
And it's just like, how do you approach somebody and try to minister the gospel to them?
I get what you're saying, yeah. But like I was thinking about something that you said. Um, I mean, when you guys are getting heated up over there, you know, I was just
Let
like,
me get a sip. Let me get a sip of
okay. But you know, so you're saying about initial attraction,
Mhm.
looks, and
Yeah.
we even went all the way down to like clothing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if imagine like clothing wasn't even part of the thing,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? What if somebody was like absolutely like, you know, there's dresses that are probably like tight
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but still decent,
Decent.
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like they got everything covered up,
Mm-hmm.
but they're genuinely just good looking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you can be generally good looking, but one thing, and I shared this with you guys before, there's a guy that I know, and you know, he goes to church, but he said that, and he's single, and he's like, oh, you know, I go to church because I know there's gonna be some
Oh,
females
there's a lot
who
of
went
people
to the
that-
club the night
yeah.
before and probably
Yeah.
have the same outfit on,
Yeah.
and those are the
Oh.
ones I'm looking for.
Oh
And
wow,
it's
I didn't
just
know. I
like,
didn't
oh
know you were gonna say
yes.
that. Wow.
So, and you know, one of my friends, she goes to that church, and someone had a talk with her about her clothing.
Mhm.
But it's like, if you are wearing something too tight and it's drawing a lot of attention, it can stumble somebody. Like, you look in the mirror before you leave the
Mhm.
house,
Mhm.
and you have to really ask yourself, is this going to draw attention, you know,
course,
in a
that's
good
what-
way,
that-
or is it
that's-
going to draw attention
Yeah.
in a negative way?
Sure.
And is there a possibility that there is somebody that is struggling with lust, you know, or even like infidelities? Because
Right.
not to say that, you know, only single people look at each other,
Mhm.
married women and men look at other people.
Mhm.
And, you know, of course, you're supposed to cast down that thought and imagination,
Right.
but
Mhm.
some people are struggling with that even in their marriages. And it's like, why would you intentionally wear something that you know you could possibly stumble another man or woman that is even married?
Right.
And
Right.
some people, unfortunately, it's like attention seeking,
Right.
because it's like, oh, I'm gonna wear this, you know, I want to feel good about myself, but I want compliments. And you know, that's kind of, it's like social media at the
Mhm.
same time, because a lot of people post things for likes, and a lot of people wear things so that they get compliments and draw attention.
Mhm.
And you know, you have to really deal with the inner man and ask yourself, you know, what is the reason that I feel like I need to wear this?
Mhm.
Not just because I like it. You know, if you like it, wear it at home. But if you're gonna like wear it out, you are wearing it out representing Christ. And that's the key thing. Like, what you're wearing, regardless of the situation, you are to be representing Christ. When
Mhm.
people look at you, there you try to, of course we're not perfect, but you're trying your very best to be as close to what God has called us to be, and try to be in, you know, his likeness and image.
Mhm.
So it's just like, when you have that conviction, I think you said that you have to really ask yourself, like, you know, is myself bigger than what God has called me to do?
Yeah. That's what it comes
That's
out to. Again, personal conviction, and we just have to be. And as we're growing in our walk with the Lord, we all, you know, have different personal convictions that we have, and then there's just that standard,
Right.
right, of
Mhm.
what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Right.
And so and we also have to remember that person that is saying that, are they a baby in Christ? Are they
Yeah.
still
Right.
learning?
Mhm.
Okay, you know, they may, because when we first came to Lord, there were some things that we didn't want to give up right away neither.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
tried to find that to have both.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Lord, but I still want to wear this, or I still want to do these certain things.
Mhm.
And so walking with that person and showing them as they're growing in the Lord, you know, what's not even just on the fact of trying to make someone else stumble. Some of them genuinely feel like, I like this. It
it
looks,
looks
good on
me.
Mhm.
and I want to wear it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
Exactly,
stump
yeah.
on
And then think about
nobody.
it. If they come from a background where they were doing much, much, much worse than that, then they're
Yeah.
like, I'm covered up now. Like, this looks
Right,
Yeah.
good.
exactly.
Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with this.
Exactly.
But then you go to the other side, like someone who's been from a really conservative family all their lives, and then, like,
Mhm.
that's like completely,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it like it's a inner motive thing,
Sure.
right? It's
Sure.
like what do you trying to achieve out of this kind
Mhm.
of thing?
What if your conscience is so dead, though, that nothing
You're not even
bothers you?
noticing.
Yeah.
Then come to Jesus My King Church with 4-9 Paul. We'll sort you out real quick, buddy.
We'll walk you through
Right.
the discipleship. You know what I mean? But that's what it's
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
Like we gotta walk them through that, and I think we just need to.
So in the end,
identify.
though, are we all going to be looking the same?
Probably not.
No.
because
And we just have to have grace and knowing
Yeah.
the individual where
Yeah.
they at.
exactly
Yeah.
because like we're talking about like so now I'm gonna go to the guy side, all right? Okay? So we're talking about women and like tight clothes, essentially tight
Yep.
clothes or
Revealing clothes?
lesser clothes, revealing
Lesser
clothes, yeah,
clothes.
okay. lesser clothes. So let's say like for guy, right? Like unless you're gonna wear like really tight stuff and you're kind of on the sus side,
Mhm.
right? You just dress up real nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you proper? Just dress up real nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing revealing, nothing too tight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And would that be stumbling somebody then?
It can be, but again, it
But it
comes,
shouldn't be, right?
it shouldn't be, but
because
because I've heard that argument. Women
oh,
made.
she's got
I've heard that
something.
argument women made that a guy that's fit
Yeah,
and you got the suits that slim fit,
exactly.
and it's hugging
yeah.
your muscles.
Yeah,
You feeling
you
yourself. You know
you
what I
ready to
mean?
go? You know?
Ready to go.
So hard.
Cue the music.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, for a woman, is that a stumbling block for you guys? Like,
It can be.
Because that's a bit
Yes.
too much.
Okay, well, I feel
think
like-
at that point it's like, okay,
Yeah.
no, I'll let
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
Well, I
I'll
feel
let
like
you
it's
go, sir.
either okay. So whether it's clothes or your attitude is how are you carrying yourself. So as a
Right.
guy, okay, so you could be all dressed fine, but
Mhm.
like, how are you How are you portraying yourself? Like, how are you
Right.
interacting with other girls? How are you talking?
Mm.
How are
Okay, yeah,
you
okay.
throwing yourself out there? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
facts.
it's
Yeah.
not just the
Super
clothes.
facts.
Yeah.
Super
'Cause
facts.
you, I'm not sure if you guys ever experienced this, but I know like in the Black community, like when we were younger, if you had like a new pair of shoes on or a
Right.
new outfit, you made a couple trips to the pencil sharpener, or you had
Want
to
everybody
throw
to see-
something
you want everybody
away.
to see your new sneakers?
Yeah,
For sure,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
You guys do that?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you
Because
kind of walked a little funny so you didn't get creases in your shoes and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Especially them Air Force Ones. You can't crease
Oh,
them Air
right.
Force Ones. Them all white Air
I was
Force
just
Ones.
envisioning.
No, but I guess that's not like try to stumble another person motive, right? You're
Right.
just showing that
Right.
look what I got. I managed to get
Yeah,
this.
Yeah,
you
but-
know, yeah.
In that, can you stumble somebody? Because with you just trying to show like, look what I got, or look how I look,
Mhm.
you could be
I
stumbling
think it's
somebody.
two different things. Like I like what you said, Samantha, because I really believe, whatever's in your heart is gonna come out.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And if your intention is to try to catch something
Yeah.
that night, you
Mm.
dressing nice, and,
Right,
you,
right,
and your
right.
intentions are wrong, it's gonna show.
Right.
You're gonna be flirting and doing all different kind of things versus someone who's really genuinely in good shape. They take care of their body.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
dress nice. They going out
Mhm.
and they're friendly and they're having a good time. I think it's
Respectful.
yeah.
I think the difference is really clear.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
super clear.
For
Like,
sure.
you'll know right away.
For sure.
So, what do you do in that situation where you have good intentions,
Mhm.
but you notice like there may be someone that's like kind of giving you the eye?
You have an
And
admirer.
yeah, even at church,
Mhm.
do you start to change a little bit, be a little bit more mindful, or because you have that good intention, are you just like, all right, well,
Well, I mean,
know.
either you're gonna shut it down, or if you're single and there's a
I was
mutual,
gonna say that.
then it
Yeah.
could be an
you know?
open
Yeah.
door for you to, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I mean, I don't think it's always a bad thing.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't think it's always a bad thing.
So from the start of this episode
Mm-hmm.
to now,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
we haven't got nowhere, basically.
No.
No, we have.
We're
We have.
inner motives. Inner
Right.
motives.
I think that's what it's
the
coming
why.
down to. Because I think
Why?
the question is always always kind of drawn back to stumbling other people.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's whether.
But there should be a percentage that the other person get a responsibility too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
of course.
Because
Yeah.
the world can't work for them. The world
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
We can't
revolve
just put a
around
blanket
them.
statement on, oh, we don't want to stumble people, so now we
Exactly.
have to,
Right.
because times are changing,
Right.
right? And of course, we don't want to compromise everything, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just be realistic. As things are changing, you know, culture is changing,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and from our parents' generation to our generation, things change.
Mhm.
From our generation to C-Dub's generation
Mhm.
and the rest of them, like, they're gonna have their thing as well. That, you know, we may not, in our culture, in our generation, we're like, nah, that's not for us.
We ain't messing
Mhm.
with that.
We're not messing with it.
Yeah.
But for them,
Mhm.
you know, where can we still fall in line with the grace of God, and in their generation, still showing them the foundations,
Mhm.
but doing it with a heart intent to still please God,
Mhm.
and still be a part of culture, because we're supposed to affect culture, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to. How else are we supposed to bring the light into darkness?
Right.
You know, because a lot of times when I went on speaking engagements for young children, in certain cultures, how you dress matters.
It
Yeah.
does.
Like how you
Mhm.
dress with certain
Yeah.
things, they identify like, oh, he got them
Yeah.
new fresh kicks, and
Yeah.
they're now their ears are open, their heart is more open to receive you.
That's true.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's different things, and I think it's just using wisdom, you know, and as you grow in the Lord, He'll use different ways that you can, you
Mhm.
know, be of effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So one time, Anthony and I, we went to this event. It was at somebody's house, but there were a lot of older people there, maybe like elders.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when they were praying for everybody, they were like, oh, we're going to pray for, can we pray for you and Anthony? So when they start, one of the guys that started praying for us, he started saying, oh, yeah, you know, the Lord wants to use you guys. And when you come out of the world, you know, He'll be able to do mighty things with you. And this was like a couple months ago. And we were just like, wait, what? And I was like, you know what? It's because the way that we were dressed. And we were covered. And like, but we like how we're dressed now. And
It's just a
sometimes
different
people,
generation.
yeah.
That's all. And I think it comes down to different generation, different time. They dress a different way. Like it was a
Yeah.
certain at my dad generation, like they dressed up. Everything was
I was gonna say
dressing
that.
down to them was still like casual, low key dressed up.
Yeah, and it was like disrespectful
They had the
to church.
loafers still.
Exactly.
Because some people
Yeah.
right now in the church be like full suit,
Full
three-piece and all
three-piece.
that, man.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Vest, everything.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
to them, that's
That's the standard.
that's the
you know, That's
standard.
what you do.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to like where you're going and what you're dressing up for,
Mhm.
inner motives, and like even the actual people around you.
Right.
Because if you're like gonna be like, you know, like within your family circle,
Mhm.
Right.
it doesn't be carrying as much weight
Right.
as maybe like
Right.
the
Why do you think that
outside.
though? Like, when is it because you're more, you built relationship with those people, so it's like,
Mhm.
okay, now I can, you know, kind of be more relaxed, versus if I'm around other people who personally don't know me, they may get the wrong intention because they just see them from the outside, like,
Right.
and they don't really know the
I
dynamics.
think it could tie back to like the stumbling thing,
Mhm.
because like if they really know me and their family and all that, like
Mhm.
what I do and all and how I am, kind of thing, like
Yeah.
shouldn't be stumbling you,
Right,
because we
we
family,
have a relationship,
you know,
yeah.
But if to like someone outside, kind of thing, like
Mhm.
it could potentially,
Right.
it
Yeah.
could potentially be.
Right.
So, what would you say to an unbeliever that's listening to this conversation? They're like, well, it seems like you guys are fake
Right.
because you're one way with certain people, and then with others, you want to present another way. Like,
Mhm.
do you look at that as
A
being,
hypocrite.
yeah.
No. I look at that as my guy. I'm gonna tell you right now, watching that, right? Life ain't black and white. Okay, life is in the gray. That's where life happens. Okay, different
What?
people, different stories, different
Yeah.
personalities.
But is there such thing as like a general standard?
There is a general standard.
Yeah.
Okay, then what is it?
Don't wear a two-piece to church. That's the standard. Okay, you got your standard right there, man.
Don't wear
Come on.
flip flops and shorts
Oh,
on the pulpit.
that's that. Oh, wait, bro.
See, I was surprised
I'm
about
talking to
that
you.
when
Don't
I
wear
first
that.
came.
I gotta repent, man. I gotta repent because when I went to Columbia, I just
you
realized.
did.
I look back. I didn't even realize
No.
for the youth conference I had on shorts on stage.
Bro.
But I think
Oh, I
because
think
it's,
I remember seeing the video. Yeah.
Too.
it was youth and it was in Columbia, so I feel
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that wrong?
Yes. Yes. That was wrong. Yes. First of all,
But they were like cargo
Forgive me, Father.
shorts.
no,
So like
it don't matter. Okay.
But
If-
see, like for me, like all my church life, we're in California. We always wore shorts. We always wore flip flops.
So the
Never
culture
thought
is
anything
different.
was wrong about it
Yeah.
until we had to be told, and then it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't know there was anything wrong with shorts or flip flops.
Mm.
Right.
Like,
oh, this is another topic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
What's that scripture when Paul was like, you know, be all things to all men? Like, obviously not to compromise, but
right.
to me, that scripture is saying being aware of, you know, the culture that you go to, because there's different things in different cultures.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
That's for them, it's a standard.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then over here, it may be different.
Mhm.
And so being aware of that, I think, is important too, because wearing shorts in, like, if you having a service in maybe Hawaii or something, they got all Hawaiian
Right,
shirts.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And,
get that.
you know,
that's a good
flip-flops.
point. That's a good point,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, that's true.
And they love the Lord,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
so it's
Gotta
just-
send revival to that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. No, but that's a good point. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Like, as you know, I guess it comes down to kind of like a culture thing.
it
too.
is for
Mhm.
sure.
I just like
For sure.
for me, sometimes I see people like shorts, and I feel like I still could just tell myself, like, you know, it's alright. Huh? It's shorts.
Right,
They're
right.
nice.
But wonder if that's all
But
they
if-
have.
But I'm gonna get them some at Walmart, man, okay? But if they're wearing flops, bro, I'm like, bro, that's too much, man.
Yeah.
No, because honestly, I'd rather you be barefoot, man. I'd honestly, because there's some people, you know, when they come into sanctuary,
Yeah,
they take
they
out
feel as though that they
this
should be
holy
barefoot.
ground
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah. So it's better to even be barefoot than to wear flops, man. Because
Wow.
What's the difference though?
No, there's a huge difference.
From
okay?
flops to
Yeah,
to
it's either.
All right, what-
barefoot-
oh,
Well, it's a
what
huge
about
difference for you
socks?
because that's
Are you
like
no. What about sandals?
No, it's either.
Women
So
wear
you
sandals
mean,
all
you mean
the
Sadu
time.
right now?
Yeah.
Sadu's in sin. Like,
Oh.
we gonna throw his name out there.
See, okay,
We gonna throw his name.
Okay,
Papa Do.
All right, okay. I'm down. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Okay. So I'm gonna explain
And
why.
to me, that's a culture thing.
no,
too.
maybe
Could be, I don't know.
It could be a culture thing. It could be a culture thing, but oh my goodness, I don't want to get canceled, bro. But you know, I'm saying to my
all
understanding.
my Angel TV followers.
Yeah, to my understanding, okay? And I feel like I am a pretty good spot to be understanding it, okay? To my understanding, that is what was told to him to wear.
Okay. So
To be
that's a
that way.
personal.
so he's an exception.
That's a personal.
He is, Sadu is an
Yes, yes.
he's elite. Okay? Bringing him in this conversation right now. was
Wait,
not
wait,
a
wait,
good
wait.
idea.
Wait. So
I mean, that's the only
So-
person I could think that wears sandals.
No, because
but,
on-
but all right, all right.
No, I
what
gotta cut you
about
off right here.
how
I'm
about
gonna-
women?
no,
You
no,
already know what I'm about to
listen,
say.
Listen, because he might be traveling the snow mountains and still be wearing that.
Right.
Oh, so that's his lifestyle.
That's
Like,
what-
There's no switch up.
Like I don't want to quote God before knowing I'm 100%
Yeah,
sure,
Yeah.
but to my understanding, and whether right or wrong, like that was what was instructed to him by
Okay.
God. That's why he wears that color.
Right,
Even
right.
when he said home, bro, he's wearing the same color.
Okay.
You know, he's not wearing a different color.
Okay.
So like,
So see, he's not a hypocrite.
yeah, but
So-
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
He's
just-
elite.
that's what
He's
you-
elite. Okay.
So that's a lifestyle
Yeah.
Yeah.
of what the Lord
What if
told
your
him to do.
So
lifestyle
so
is
how do
sandals
we
and
know other
flip-flops?
people's lifestyles?
Yeah.
Like how do you know? And that's where unfortunately some unbelievers are like, well, I don't go to church because the church are judgmental,
Mhm.
you know? And so it's like, how do you receive people in with those standards?
Mhm.
Because it's like, you know, as you mature,
Mhm.
you will start to change.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do you implement that, you know, across the board? Because say, you know, you maybe when you go back to school and then you come back and you see like maybe 10 members here
Right.
with shorts and flip-flops,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, what are
Repent.
they doing? Like, how dare they,
Right.
you know, respect the Lord, you
Right,
know,
right,
but not knowing that they're new, you
Yeah.
know, they don't really have much,
Mhm.
or it may have been something the Lord
Mhm.
commanded for them,
Right.
you know. So how
To
do
wear
you kind
shorts
of like
to church.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
to
extreme,
gauge
but
it?
I get
Yeah, I
it.
know. Yeah.
So, but how was it for you guys then? Like that transition, like you guys were used to wearing shorts, going to church.
Yeah.
Like, did someone walk you guys through that, or was it kind of just a sudden thing? Like, and
It was
you,
sudden.
were you offended at first?
Well, for me, the whole shorts flip flop thing, that kind of came naturally because, like,
Okay.
later I even tried wearing flip flops here in North Carolina. I'm like, I feel so weird. Like, I don't think I could even wear flip flops anymore.
Okay.
But what was harder for me was not wearing black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, I
Mm.
remember that time
Mm.
that they were wearing a lot of black.
Yeah.
Okay, to church. I remember.
so I
that.
always wore
Yeah,
black.
they wore
like,
a lot of black.
like
Okay.
black. That was
Yeah.
my color. Like, I was so comfortable with black. I felt like I looked good in black.
Mm-hmm.
I was uncomfortable wearing like anything else,
Colorful.
Yeah.
anything
Mhm.
colorful.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so
And look at the transformation today. Look at
all
that.
color.
Yeah.
So now, how did that
All
transformation
color.
come about?
She got
So-
RGB going on right now.
So it
Wait,
came
what's
about with
RGB?
Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
don't even know what that is.
It's a media guys
Yeah.
talk. You know?
Okay.
Oh man.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. So how did it happen?
Yeah, that transition, like for you.
Well, first it happened with Pastor Stephen,
Mhm.
just kind of coming up and going, "Oh, you're wearing black again today." And then again,
And you didn't even
"Oh,
realize
you're
it.
wearing black again today." I mean, I knew I was wearing black, but I'm like, "So what? Like, what are you trying to say? Like,
Mhm.
is there something wrong with black?"
Right.
And then he kept doing that, and I'm like, is God trying to tell him something about me? Like, I'm not supposed to be wearing black or something? Like, what is this? And so I kind of had like a meltdown about it.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, but I was like, okay, there's probably really something behind this. So I was like, I'm not going to buy any more black clothes. Like, from here on out, I'm just going to buy color. And that was so hard for me because I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
But I just kind of pushed through with it and bought a whole bunch of like colored tops and everything. And I kind of just forced myself to wear those things. And I remember feeling so uncomfortable coming to church. I was like, I look like a clown. Like, I'm not matching. My clothes doesn't
go
look
all the way
good.
to clown, man.
Like, I felt so insecure though, because black was like my security
Your
blanket.
thing, right.
Like, it made me feel like it made me feel good. It made me feel like I was in place.
Mhm.
But that was totally out of my comfort zone. But one day when I was reading the Bible, so the whole time I'm asking God, like, why?
Mhm.
Why? Like, do you not wear black? Like, does this matter to you? Like, are you against black clothes? Like, what is this? And then what made it worse actually was that whole month, every Sunday, I think, whenever Pastor Angeline would come in, she'd be wearing black. And I was like, why can't
What
I
is
wear
that?
black? Like, what is this?
She put the Uno reverse card right there.
I'm like, what is this? And then one day Pastor Stephen comes in, he's wearing black. And he comes up to me and makes that comment again. You're wearing black again today. And I'm like,
but you just did.
what? But so I was asking God all those questions like, okay, so do you want me to never wear black anymore? Do I get rid of like all of my black clothes? Like, what if a top is pink but it has black little stripes going through it? Is that okay? What if there's little tiny polka dots on it? Is that okay? What if the label's black? Like, how far do I go with this? Like, never anything?
Mm.
And so I was reading the Bible one day, and you know that verse where it talks about like, and so they were condemned because they loved darkness more than the light.
Right.
So I was reading that, but when I was reading that, all of a sudden it came through to me differently, and it hit my mind, and it was like, here's your answer: love light more than the darkness.
Right.
And so that's become like my stable block now, and so it's made shopping so easy.
So what? Do you not wear black no more?
no, I'm totally cool with wearing black, but I
Right.
prefer to wear lighter
Exactly,
colors.
You see,
Yeah,
I think that
yeah,
goes with
yeah.
our conversation. Like,
Yeah.
you got that personal conviction, that
Yeah.
breakthrough
In
that
the
you
motive,
needed.
Right.
everything,
You know what
And
I
so
mean?
now, even if I go to a funeral or something and I'm wearing head to toe black, like, it doesn't hurt my conscience. I feel totally fine with that.
Yeah.
But I prefer now wearing colors. So,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah.
And that's probably something new for you that the Lord revealed.
Yeah.
That in your walking, in your journey,
Yeah.
that the Lord revealed to you that you never was aware of.
Because it was unhealthy.
Right.
I held on to black so much.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So when I was actually just thinking about clothes, and I was thinking, okay, so what is clothes? What is dressing? And then what kind of came to me was like, the way we dress, clothing is a tool. So which is what we've been talking about this whole time. It's a really powerful tool, and it's a communication tool. So what are we telling people? Like how we dress is we're communicating stuff to people all the time, and that's just one way that we do it.
Whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, whether you realize it or not.